very brown feet because I got self-tan. I am going to wash this off in the shower in a moment. This is my second bit of exercise for today. I do a little kettlebell session about 3 times a week, and it's only so I get a little bit of weight training in because the bike is a lot of cardio, and also I want to get some upper body stuff in too. It's really quick, it's about 15 minutes, and then I do a little bit of yoga in between my sets, and I always listen to a podcast during. And the podcasts I tend to listen to at the moment are Diary of CEO, it is How to Fail, and Modern Wisdom. Face. Owie. Keep your little sharp toes to yourself. Welcome to my living room. I thought it might get a bit boring if I keep on sitting in my bedroom all the time, and today I thought let's spice it up, let's sit in the living room. I want to start off by saying thank you. I've had amazing feedback for my YouTube channel and these videos. I kind of didn't expect it to become a big thing. I was more thinking that it would be, because I get so many questions on my kind of different concepts and subjects, that when I'm on DMs on Instagram, I do get a bit overwhelmed with the amount of answers I have to give, and I write a lot of the same thing all the time. So what I thought with this YouTube channel was that I will kind of get a space where I can kind of summarize everything and then just send the YouTube link and go, oh, you want to know more about 1 item a month? You know, this is the video for you. You want to know more about finding your personal style? This is the video for you. Just making it a bit easier and a bit more fun, and also not so repetitive for me. And now I'm noticing it's still very, very small, but I'm really enjoying the experience of vlogging. I've never done it before, and I think it's really, really, really fun. It's such a great extension to the other platforms that I have, because I'm on, you know, Facebook is my base platform, where I have 500,000 followers, and then after that is Instagram, where it's a bit over 300,000. And then obviously here I'm very, very new, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I think I might be doing more YouTube in the future because this is really, really fun. So if you want to see more of this and more videos, then I would be so, so happy if you subscribed, because that would show me that there's an interest for me to keep doing these videos and that you find them useful. And that is my main reason for all my channels, is I want to take the kind of journey I've gone through and the knowledge I've collected in my journey and spread it on and give it on to other people. So I feel like I have very much like a purpose for being on social media. I have very much of a purpose for doing all these things that I do. And anytime I feel like I can help someone a little bit, it just makes me feel really good. It just makes me really, really happy when I can help someone else out. So to today's subject, I get so many questions on how do I know that something I'm buying is a good purchase. So basically we are now moving into the territory of clever shopping. This is a huge deal. You will always want to be a clever shopper. So there's a lot of things you want to do. Obviously, you want to find your personal style. You want to kind of set up a few parameters of how you shop, but it's also really important to figure out what you want to buy and how to buy it and how to think around shopping, because that is one of the most sensitive subjects there are. And I want to start by talking about emotional shopping versus rational shopping. So I touched on this quite a lot in general, because this is kind of the baseline of a shopaholic. A shopaholic is going to be more of an emotional shopper than a rational shopper. It's more about the purchasing action than it is about actually getting the item that you want. So what I'm wanting to do is to kind of take you from impulse shopping, emotional shoppers, into a slightly more rational, planned way of shopping, so that you become a clever shopper and you're more in charge of, you know, your own money, your own style, and what ends up in your wardrobe. So I'm going to give you a few little tips and tricks on how to kind of make sure that you're always buying items that's going to work for you and that are clever purchases. So the first thing I always say is never ever buy anything that you do not love, because that's the main thing. If you buy things you don't love, if you buy things that you just like, then you are going to buy lots of things that you're not going to end up wanting. So always buy items that you truly love. And I think this is such a good way of starting to look inwards and starting to feel your own personal style instead of listening to other people. Because I find a lot of times when we shop, we're looking at a trend, we're looking at what our friend's wearing, we're looking at what's something that we think could potentially be cool. We're imagining almost like who we're going to be in this lifestyle with this item. And it might be a nice item, but if you look at it closely and clearly when you're wearing it, do you truly love it? Does it actually kind of properly feed into your personal style? And this is where dupes comes in. I know all the influencers out there are like, oh, dupe of this, dupe of that. I don't like dupes, and I have a very, very good reason why I don't like dupes. And it is because most of the time, you want a dupe because you want the actual item. A dupe is basically a copy of a more expensive item. And you're looking at this item and you're going, oh, I can't afford it. So you know what? I'm going to buy this item instead. I'm going to buy an item that is almost as good. You know, the quality might not be there, style is not really there, but you know, it's almost like that item. The problem with that is you're going to end up buying something that you don't truly love. If you would have chosen to get the actual item you want, it would have probably cost you more. So you would have had to be really, really, truly sure that this is something you actually want. Second of all, you probably would have to wait a little bit or maybe save up. And that will give you a little bit of time to think over this item. Is this something that I am buying because it's an emotional buy or it's a trend? Or is this something that I can see in my wardrobe for a long time? You just have to be more aware when you're purchasing something that is that little bit more expensive. And then you know truly when you buy it that this is something that you truly love. However, a dupe is something that you're going to be able to buy much quicker because it's less of an investment. You don't have to think so much about it. And, you know, it's not much of a big deal to buy a dupe. But every time I bought a dupe and I looked at it, I always gone, I like it, but I don't love it. I would have loved the other item and wanted to keep it forever. But with a dupe, all I'm seeing is all the ways that this item isn't the item I actually want. And the other problem with dupes is that most of the time the quality is really bad, unfortunately. So a dupe won't last. And most of the time, to be fair, dupes are a very popular, trendy item. It kind of affects your personal style because you're not going on kind of on your heart, on what you love. You're just getting something because it's something that item has sparked in you. Another really important tool to figure out if an item is worth buying is price per wear. And I talk a lot about this, so you guys who already know about it can skip forwards just a little bit. But if you don't know what price per wear is, I'm going to explain it to you right now. So price per wear is taking the initial investment of an item and dividing it into the amount of times you think you're going to be wearing it. So an item can look very cheap initially, but if you look at how much wear you're getting out of it, it's actually really expensive for each time you're wearing it. Whilst a really expensive item can look super expensive, be a really heavy investment in the beginning, but could end up being one of the cheapest items in your wardrobe. And that is the reason why my black Chanel flat bag is actually one of the cheapest items I own in my wardrobe, which is absolutely crazy if you think about it, but it makes perfect sense with price per wear. So the easiest way I can show you price per wear is going to be a comparison for my own wardrobe. So I was going to go out with my girlfriends. I didn't really feel like I had anything to wear. This was during my shopaholic years. And I, as normal, popped into Zara and had a look around, and I found this kind of going out dress. And it was priced at £40, which I thought was very reasonable. Looked at the dress and I thought, this is perfect, this is a great investment, I'm getting this dress. So I put down an initial investment of £40, and then I was really happy with my purchase. However, now, if I look back, that purchase wasn't very inexpensive at all. It was actually really expensive, because in the end, I ended up wearing this dress 5 times. So after 5 times, the trend was gone. The quality of dress wasn't really good enough to keep on wearing, because as soon as I washed it, it looked a bit like meh. And then, to be honest, I most likely bought this out of a more of an emotional side than actual rational side, because this dress wasn't actually really in keeping with my personal style. So as soon as the trend was over, I was kind of over the dress and actually got rid of it. In the end, £40 divided in 5, it's actually quite expensive. It was actually quite an expensive price to pay for each time I wore that dress. I also came to London about 20 years ago. I'm Swedish. I was modeling. I was always on the tube. I was always cold because I had to wear like very thin clothing for modeling. So I decided I'm going to buy a really warm big jacket that I can wear when I'm in between castings, and I can take off in one go on the tube, so I don't have to have like lots of layers and take jumpers and jackets off. So I went to Harrods and I went to Montgomery, and I just decided I'm going to take this hit. I'm going to spend £1,000 on a jacket, which to me at that point was insane. I thought I was making the biggest mistake, but I was just tired of the situation of having to put on and off layers all the time whenever I was into castings, out of castings, into tubes, out of tubes. So I just said, you know what, screw this, I'm buying this jacket. I bought that jacket for £1,000 15 years ago, and I would estimate that I have used this jacket at least 50 times a year since then. If you take 15 times 50 and you divide 1,000 in that number, then you can see that the price per wear of this jacket is absolutely amazing. It's way cheaper than the Zara dress that I only wore 5 times, but the initial investment was a lot higher. So every time you go shopping, think about, how much am I going to wear this item? Because if you see yourself wearing it for years and years, you know the quality is going to last for years and years, and you love it, you truly love it, you know you're going to wear it, put more money into it, it will be worth it. I think that is such a strong reason to why buy fewer items that cost a little bit more than buying lots of items that are cheaper, that the price per wear of it is going to be pretty crap. Another great reason why it's better to buy slightly more high-end, high-quality items is that you get a second-hand value. So my Montclair jacket, even though it's 15 years old, still holds value. Was a Zara dress, I couldn't sell that dress when I got rid of it. I had to give it to a charity shop. Even though my Montclair jacket is 15 years, it still looks brand new, and I could sell that for quite a lot of money. So if you can buy something that you know you're going to wear loads, you're going to use it loads, you're going to get an excellent price per wear, and then on top of it, you're going to actually make a lot of your money back again when you sell it. That is ultimate. You basically rented an item for 15 years. So if I chose to sell my Montclair jacket now, how much did I actually spend in the end on my jacket for these 15 years? It wouldn't have been a lot. And this is why you have to be so clever with shopping, because your choices are going to make a huge impact on your budget and your personal style. And the last thing I want to talk about is every time you buy a new item, one, make sure, sorry, Olive is snoring in the background. There she is. The sofa is basically like Olive's territory. This is where Olive lives. Normally she's curled up on top of one of these and she's fast asleep. She's a very sleepy little dog and she snores so loudly. Like if you notice snoring ever in my videos, look for Olive. Look for like the sign of a tiny little doggy somewhere, because she snores worse than like any man I've ever met. She is the snoriest dog in the whole world. She breathes really well, but she snores like literally like a grown man. So the last thing I want to touch on when it comes to this subject is that anytime you bought an item, I want you to take it home and I want you to style it. I mean straight away. I mean like out of the bag, same day, pick it up, look in your wardrobe, style it into at least 3 outfits. If you cannot style that item into 3 outfits, then that item is not a part of your personal style. Because it's so important that we invest in items that fits in with the rest of our wardrobe. Ideal purchases are the ones that takes our wardrobes, elevates it, and makes it work harder for us so that we can use the items we already own even more. And that's why it's so important to do big clear outs. Take stock of what you have in your wardrobe. See where the holes are, like what's missing, what would make this wardrobe better. Make wish lists and then go and buy items. Don't just go browsing in stores, because that's when bad impulse shopping happens. And when you come home, do the try on party, put in the 3 outfits, make sure that this is actually a good item for you to own and a good purchase. And if it isn't, return it. Returns are a great thing. It means that you can take an item home, try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, give it back, buy something else. Never be that person that has an item at home that still have tags on that you never used. So there's so much I can say around shopping because it's one of my absolute favorite subjects. And only because I've looked at my own journey from being a shopaholic to where I am now. And there's just so much that we can do. There's so many ways that we can think. There's so many little tips that I can give you. And if I'm gonna give you one super quick little tip that I always stand by no matter what, that eliminates impulse shopping, is give yourself the rule that you always sleep 24 hours on every purchase. Unless it's a crazy sale, the item is on your wish list already, and you know you really truly want it and you need to buy it now or you lose it. That's the only exception. Otherwise, 24 hours, if you still love it, if you're still thinking about it, it's probably a good purchase. If you're not, drop it. And most likely, you know what? If it's not, you're not even going to think about it, and you just saved yourself a crappy purchase, a crappy emotional impulse purchase, and you're going to be so much better off for it. Save money that you can use towards something you truly love.